Yo, YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to the Jonathan Hassinger channel. I, of course, am your host, John Hassinger, for this out-of-theater reaction to Civil War, starring Kirsten, Dunst, Alex Garland, written and directed. It follows those three reporters during the American Civil War. California and Texas have joined. They're called the Western Forces, and they are determined to overthrow the United States government and murder the president. These reporters are aware that the Western Forces are planning to do that, and their goal is to get to the president before they do, and at least interview him. Because, you know, it'll be like the most historic interview ever. I mean, that's basically their goal. This movie, Alex Garland he's a great storyteller. He uses characters to kind of emphasize a character's nuance, but also to fill in the audience on shit that you probably forget or don't even think about, which is wartime photographers. It's such an odd thing because we've seen so many pictures of war, and we never realized, like, oh yeah, like a human had to pick up a machine and point it at that and press a button and then make it back and develop it all. It's quite a weird, crazy thing, and I'm going to get into that right before, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Civil War, I'm going to get into spoilers, even though it's not like, you know, a Marvel movie. But this movie is not only a love letter to the United States, it's a love letter to cameras and, you know, video cameras, but mostly the invention of the camera. Because there's so many times in this movie where these four journalists are taking pictures, and it will freeze and it'll show you a picture that you've never seen before, but you've seen a lot like them, and it just never clicks. Holy shit, there were journalists following the soldiers, taking pictures of this. Wartime journalists. It's like a term that I think I've heard like once. And I'm like, oh yeah, there are people like that. I mean, nowadays, and I'm sure it's happened in the past, they get like kidnapped. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple people who have relatives that are still alive that are living on a farm, pretending this Civil War isn't going on. Meanwhile, these journalists are literally living day to day in the thick of it, watching people die left and right. And it just goes to show you, I mean, if things do unravel here in the United States, there will still be areas that are just completely untouched. Like, it's gigantic, and we're all crammed into, like, the corner, the edges, the sides. You know, there's so much empty land in America that, like, a war could be going on and we'd be like, all right, I'm going to go to where it's not. There were so many shots in this movie. Like I said, I went into this movie thinking it was going to be a war movie. It is not. It's basically a love letter, and also like I don't know if it's a cautionary tale, but it's almost like, look at what we have. We have the best thing. Like, this plot of land that we live on is the best that the planet has to offer. We should not be fighting on it. Yeah, it was pretty powerful. That Garland, man, he really takes his time and gets the message across. It was sort of vague there. It wasn't really even a happy ending. Actually, I mean, it's a brutal ending. But, like, the people you're with, they win. The soldiers that, like, the reporters are eventually, like, with, because they get there, like, at the same time. and the reporters realize that the president isn't dead. They sent out a fake. And the 3 reporters run in. Kirsten Dunst, she runs into the White House. The soldiers follow them. Crazy shootout happens. Kirsten Dunst dives in front of, saves her, gets shot in the back. They never let you know if she dies. They get the president, comes up and asks him, I need a quote. And the president quote says, "Don't let them kill me." And his response is, "That'll do." And then she snaps the pictures, the new girl, and the soldiers shoot the president, Nick Offerman. And the movie ends. The movie ends with the soldiers posing with the dead president. And like a still shot as the credits roll. So it's like, yeah, like that happens in other places. But this country, not just the people, but like the actual land that we live on, this part of the planet is so perfect. We just shouldn't be blowing it up. If you guys have seen Civil War, let me know what you think. If you haven't, let me know if you're going to see it. If you're not interested, let me know why not. Because I did not think it was as bad and as scary and as dystopian as everyone said. It was actually quite refreshing. For Daily Trailer Reaction, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next week. I gotta go.